look, I think, the truth is that the problems, the challenges, the opportunities are very similar, actually, on both sides of the pond. Now, the Biden administration, when they're asked about inflation, Biden says, well, he said Iraq the other day, but he says, look, it's all because of Putin, it's all because of Ukraine. Do American voters believe that?
I think American voters are very confused because, like you mentioned at the beginning, the campaigns have been a little bit different. It's been more about softer items rather than talking about facts, and that's actually pretty common here. I think less so in Great Britain. But in this case, when they talk about inflation is a result of somebody else's problem. Incumbents often say that when there's a problem. I think a lot of what we did here in the U.S. was self-induced. I think we have one of the most incompetent Federal Reserve Boards we've ever had. And I think we've had a very incompetent federal administration, including Biden, and the advisors, and I put advisors in quotes because I don't know if they're really experts in their particular area. So I sound a little down on it, but I'm optimistic for the future.
I learned 40 years ago that inflation was a disease of money caused by government, and I haven't changed that view in 40 years, and we're seeing it writ large. And the chances are now we've got inflation, but it's here to stay for a bit, isn't it?
I think it'll be here a couple more years, and I've been bringing back the same concept of the Volcker recession. Had a lot of government spending, had to hit the brakes, inflation was high. You cause a recession. That's really what's happening here. But I'm still very hopeful for there's some states that are a little bit more business friendly, like Arizona. I'm more hopeful for us than I am for the nation average as a whole.
Yeah. How do you see, the red wave is being talked about. That, okay, we get it, that the Republican Party will pick up seats in the House, will pick up a seat or two, maybe more, in the Senate. But this happens at every midterm. Is this going to be an exceptional red wave, or is it in line with what we've seen over the last 20 years?
I've learned to not speculate as much over the last couple of cycles, election cycles, but it does seem that pendulum does seem to swing back. But when it's a little bit closer to the middle and it forces people to think about things and they actually have to solve problems and they have to take out calculators to do math rather than just making stuff up, that's when good stuff happens. And so even if we swing a little bit to the right, if that brings us back into balance and then we start discussing the issues, a lot of it's going to fall on the integrity and the quality of the people that we elect, whether they're Republican or Democrat. The Republicans that are going to be coming in, like you're saying, they need to be open to how can we build the economy. That is what gives you extra money so you can reduce taxes. That gives you extra money so you can invest in education and other things. But you have to focus on economic issues, and we've gotten way away from that. I haven't seen a single economic issue in the vast majority of the political commercials across the country that are televised, and then also here in our state.
Final thoughts on Arizona itself, because that's where we are. Carrie Lake, for 22 years she was presenting local news here in Arizona, so a very well-known face in Arizona. She suddenly decides to get into politics. I met her before she even decided to run. Donald Trump endorses her. It's a very, very strong, very powerful narrative that she develops based around Christianity, the family, saying the election in 2020 was a disgrace, it was stolen. She's also, by the way, this morning saying that voting machines in Maricopa County, Arizona, are not working in some cases. She is an absolute fireball on the local political scene here, isn't she?
Yeah, her popularity has grown very rapidly, and she's a little bit more of an unknown for advisors like myself because it's somebody that is new, a different type of person coming in. But based on things that she's been saying, I feel like she would be just as open to any other gubernatorial candidate if I walked in and said, here's your 10 economic development items that you want to implement during your first 10 years. I picture her being willing to embrace those just like anybody else. And so I think things after the election, when you actually have to start governing, you have to figure out the budget, you have to figure out tax policy.
You're assuming she is going to win, are you?
Slight lead right now, but it's still considered a coin flip among those experts, and I even call the experts, I put that in quotes as well, because they're guessing just like we are.
But if she gets there, I think she could well be, and we hear that Donald Trump is making a big announcement at Mar-a-Lago, Tuesday the 15th of November. I would think if she wins, she could be his vice presidential running mate.
That's a rumor that I've heard as well, and I would hate to lose somebody that's going to come into the state and want to work on the economy and work on building things. I would hate to lose that caliber of a person, but we'll just have to see how that works out. That's speculative, but I'm still optimistic. Our state, even though it's a little warm right now, if you were to come in tomorrow, we would have been rained on. Our state, if I was going to pick any state to be doing the work I'm doing in, it'd be Arizona. We have the best opportunities. We have good tax rates. All the other things that you want to look for, the balance that we talked about, we have here, and it's an exciting time to be an Arizonan.